Zachary, the term fresco refers to paint that has been applied to wet plaster. Okay, once dried, a fresco indelibly preserves the paint that a painter has applied in this way. Okay, unfortunately, additions known to have been made by later painters have obscured the original fresco work done by Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. Oh no, so people did this and it hurt Michelangelo's work. Therefore, in order to restore Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel paintings to the appearance that Michelangelo intended them to have, everything except the original fresco work must be stripped away. All right, so Zachary's conclusion is in order to restore it, everything has to be, except the original fresco work has to be stripped away. All right, and then how does Stephen respond?
And Stephen says that it was extremely common for painters of Michelangelo's era to add painted details to their own fresco work after the frescoes had dried.
So what is Stephen doing here to Zachary's argument?
Providing, because I don't think he's disagreeing with the statement that additions have been made by later painters obscuring the original fresco work, but rather stating that it's possible that Michelangelo did it himself.
And what happens if Michelangelo did it himself?
That then there is no need to strip away the original fresco.
What if it's not even, what if Michelangelo didn't do everything himself? What if he just had some of it too?
Yeah.
Then it's like, if we would strip everything away, well, then it's not what Michelangelo intended. So he almost like weakens this conclusion, right? But he doesn't like completely disagree, but he kind of like, he just like weakens it or kind of throws a punch at like, hey, have you considered this?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with E on this one.
Okay, so E, demonstrating that Zachary's conclusion is not consistent with the premise he uses to support it. I don't. This is one that I'm going to be honest, I guessed on, partially because I kind of struggle with.
So E is saying, like, for us to do that, we would have to show them that that Zachary was being like, one of his premises contradicts his conclusion.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. Like, we don't say like, hey, you said this, but then you're concluding this.
Yeah. Okay, so it's definitely not E because he's not doing that.
Right.
I don't think it's D because Stephen's not denying the truth of any of the premises.
Yeah, these are the only premises in this, and we don't deny any of those.
Yeah. C, drawing a conclusion other than the one that Zachary reaches. That's kind of exactly what Stephen does.
But does Stephen draw a conclusion?
Not specifically in this sentence.
Nope. So since we don't draw a conclusion, it's wrong.
Okay. And then B, challenging the definition of a key term, doesn't really do that.
Yeah, we would have to be like, you're using, like, I guess like the fresco refers to the paint that has been applied to, we're like, no, fresco actually means this.
Yeah.
All right, so how can we make A work?
Calling into question an assumption. Because the assumption that Zachary makes is that the additional work on the frescoes was done by other painters after the fact, and that
or at least not Michelangelo, right?
Yes, so it's not part of Michelangelo's original body of work.
And we're like, hey, how do you just get to assume that is what Stephen is doing? And so that's our answer.
So I guess what I was confused on with this one and questions like this, because this is not the first time I've come across these, is that we're not guessing what Stephen's next steps are in the argument, rather
not at
taking the statement that he's already made and finding what role it plays in either weakening or discussing
Yes.
what is said above.
You don't get to go beyond, like, if it doesn't happen, it's wrong.
Okay.
And we're going to be very strict on our answer choices when it comes to that.